Why connecting with your essence can be so hard and what to do about it. When you're not connected to your essence, it feels like you never have enough time. You fluctuate between stressed out and checked out. Being around other people feels draining and can give you anxiety. You're constantly in figure it out mode. You're never able to rest. You are without an internal direction and are always asking other people what you should do. You feel lonely no matter whether you're around other people or you're by yourself. But when you are connected to your essence, it feels like you're more present during your days, which makes it feel like you have more than enough time. There is no need to be stressed out or checked out, no matter what's happening, because you trust yourself and you are excited to be alive. You are comfortable around other people because you trust your boundaries. There is nothing to figure out because you trust yourself even through uncertainty. You are deeply in touch with your internal direction and you trust it. You feel a sense of belonging no matter whether you're around other people or by yourself. This video is going to help you experience less of the first list and more of the second. Does that sound good? If you are really ready to start experiencing more of your unique essence and your unique power, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel because it is going to give you everything that you need to know to make that possible. And we're going to do that through the lens of parts work because ain't nobody talking about parts work the way that I'm talking about parts work. Let's do a quick recap of your essence because there are lots of great words to describe your essence. Some people call it their center. I like calling it the love inside of you. Also, your inner leader is a great name for it. You might even call it your soul or the Holy Spirit or source energy or your higher self, depending on what your spirituality is. For more on your essence, you can watch this video. And remember, parts work is about building a stronger relationship between your parts and your essence in your inner world, which allows you to have more influence over your behaviors in the outer world. Now, let's go over some of the reasons why it is hard for your parts to connect to your essence and what to do about it. The part you're in doesn't know your essence even exists. When our parts are blended with us, we don't always have access to conscious choice outside of the choices that that part knows. If the part you're blended with, which just means the part that's in control of your experience, if that part doesn't even know about your essence, it can be challenging to remember to connect with your essence, right? Another reason that connecting with your essence can be hard is that your essence can feel like a stranger at first. If a part of you has never actually been introduced to your essence, wouldn't it make sense that that part sees your essence as a stranger that it's not sure if it can trust? Here's what to do about it. Honestly, practice. The more you build the skill of connecting with your essence, the easier and more natural it will become for all of your parts. The more you build that skill and collect the data of how much things improve, the more you connect with your essence, the more your parts will actively seek out connection with your essence on a regular basis. You're not looking for your essence. There was a time when I was in a super triggered part in my inner world. I was in pure darkness and I was panicking because my essence wasn't showing up. Then eventually my essence did show up and I was like, where the hell were you? Why didn't you show? I was so scared. You're supposed to always be here. And my essence was like, sweetie, you weren't looking for me. Sometimes you just gotta slow down long enough to look around and you'll see me. You just gotta slow down long enough to let yourself be found. Very often we are not experiencing our essence because we're not actually orienting ourselves toward them. What to do about it? Practical ways to look for your essence is to ask yourself, if my essence were here, what would that be like? This is an awesome way to experience more of the energy of your essence without having to worry if it's here or if it's not. You're frantically trying to figure out how to find your essence. If you are like me, your figure it out parts tend to get all frazzled when they can't figure out how to connect with your essence. This ultimately just makes the stakes feel higher and like you're under even more pressure to figure it out. Here's what to do about it. In this case, please stop trying so hard to connect with your essence and just focus on letting yourself be found by your essence. There is literally no figuring it out required. You don't actually have to go find your essence. You don't have to figure out how to get back into the right mindset. You just have to allow yourself to be found by your essence. Slow down and look for the ways your essence energy is already starting to show up. No matter what part you get lost in, your essence is already on the way and will always find you as long as you allow yourself to be found by them. You're afraid to slow down. Connecting with anyone, whether it be another human or your own essence, requires you to slow down and get present, which is usually the opposite of what your parts want to do. They usually want to speed up, especially when they feel like the stakes are so high, because if you're moving fast, you become a moving target and you're harder to hit, which means you're harder to hurt. But what happens is that this applies to the inner world too. When your parts go so fast in the inner world, they also become a moving target for your essence and the inner safety your essence brings. So you might be harder to hurt, but you also make it really hard for you to receive the love and the nourishment and the wisdom that's always available inside as well. Here's what to do about it. Get somewhere physically safe and take a leap of faith on slowing down and allowing your essence to find you even here. Making your exhales longer than your inhales is a very practical way to slow your physical nervous system down, which can really help your parts feel safer to slow down and connect as well. You're seeing through the knothole of your trauma. It is hard to hear the voice of your essence through the pain and overwhelming emotions your parts are carrying. It can sometimes feel like your essence is speaking a whole other language at first too, like your essence is saying something but you just can't hear it yet. Here's what to do about it. This is when it helps to read and listen to lots of material from people whose words make you feel calm, connected, compassionate, curious, or creative. Find your people that remind you of the voice of your essence and create a practice around listening to them so you can have more regular reminders of what the language of your essence sounds like. This will point you back to the place inside of you where you can hear the words of your own essence for yourself. You're afraid or unwilling to trust what your essence is telling you. So often, parts want your essence to tell them what to do, as in, how do I fix this? Your essence can absolutely help you with this, and you might receive a clear answer for that right away, but often, your essence knows that any action taken from a frantic, triggered state isn't going to be the thing that will actually help. So they'll often first respond with an answer that informs you of how to be instead of what to do. What I mean by this is your essence might say things like, you can't mess this up, I'm here with you, you can trust yourself, you just gotta try. This might frustrate some of your parts because they aren't clear on how that is actually going to help solve the problem. Here's what to do about it. Understand the way this advice helps you to solve the problem is that it changes the way you are oriented toward yourself and toward life. And that change of orientation is going to open up more possibilities for action that actually will help. Whether you think the advice of your essence is going to solve the problem or not, I invite you to trust it and see what happens. Because honestly, it has never failed to lead me to calmer waters in my inner world and to more of my needs being met in the outer world. Because when I change my orientation, even when the stakes feel high, more options for actually doing things become available to me that just weren't available when I was triggered trying to figure out how to fix things. So practice collecting some actual data from listening to your essence, even when it doesn't make sense, and see what happens. You think you know better. Another reason why listening to your essence can be hard is because, quite frankly, you're in a part that thinks they know better. Even with as much data as I have collected and all the trust I've built with my own parts, this is still something that shows up for me. It is the arrogance of humanity in the face of pure, unconditional love. It's kind of baffling. It's very common for parts to think they are better at being God than your essence is. And as long as they're holding on to that orientation, it is going to be hard to experience more of your essence energy because there are parts of you who don't think they need it and that are better off without it. So here's what to do about it. Cultivate more humility and a willingness to open your mind to at least collect data about what happens when you let your essence run the show for a bit. Another thing I ask my parts who think they know better is, how is this strategy working out for you so far? If it's working well, then great. But if not, maybe it's time to try on some new inner leadership. You're afraid of what you'll have to let go of if you listen to your essence. The thing about your essence is that its unconditional love threatens to unravel the lies you've believed about yourself. Even though those lies haven't necessarily been helpful in your life, they are comfortable because they offer you the certainty of the devil you know. In this way, listening to your essence is the same thing as opening yourself up to a new way of existing in the world, to allowing yourself to be seen by the light, to be seen by love, and to stop hiding. And with that newness comes change, and with change comes uncertainty, and our parts usually will not step into uncertainty unless they absolutely must. Here's what to do about it. Honestly, it is super common for parts to only start listening to your essence when things get so bad that they absolutely must. Your essence is constantly inviting you to become a truer version of yourself, which is also inviting you to let go of some of the lies you still believe about yourself and other people. Your parts might not take your essence up on those invitations until they absolutely must, until they feel like there's no other option. And I know it's scary, but surrendering to the leadership of your essence always pays off in the end. Always. You feel unworthy of the love of your essence. Sometimes getting close to unconditional love also means getting close to our unworthiness wounds. Because of that, your parts might actually resist love or not accept it even when your essence offers love to them. It's hard for a part to imagine a love better than what they've known. It can be challenging for a part to even be able to believe that there is a love much better than what they've experienced so far, much less than that they are worthy of that love. So here's what to do about it. Cultivate a willingness to receive the love you don't believe you are worthy of. Your feelings of unworthiness do not have to be resolved before you receive love. And in fact, it is through receiving love anyway that your feelings of worthiness get resolved. So I invite you to stretch yourself with the amount of love you let in from your essence and see what happens. And also, cultivate a willingness to believe that you can be treated better than this part has ever been treated before. You don't have to evolve your opinion of yourself before you start letting your essence treat you better. It's actually through through treating yourself better than you feel worthy of being treated that you begin to evolve your opinion of yourself and your worth. You're avoiding feeling your feelings. Your essence is often pointing you to the feelings you don't want to feel because that is where your essence is inviting you to experience healing and maturation. But goddamn, our parts will resist feeling those feelings until they absolutely must, won't they? Your essence is often waiting for you in your vulnerability. When you are living life on the periphery and your parts that are always going super fast and focused on figuring everything out and what the next thing to do is, it can be hard to realize your essence is making an invitation for those parts to actually slow down and access their vulnerability because that's where your essence is waiting to meet them. So if you're trying so hard to figure it out and you're angry that your essence isn't showing up to help, it's probably because there are parts of you that are actually avoiding the very vulnerability your essence is already waiting for you in. Here's what to do about it. The art of this is to go to the vulnerability, go to those feelings and trust that your essence will meet you there. Feel the feelings you're trying so hard to think your way out of and look for your essence even there and see what happens. You're confusing your essence with mommy or daddy. If your parts were hurt by the people in your life that were supposed to represent love, of course, they are going to be suspicious of anything in your inner world that represents love too, including your essence. This was something I had to learn in my own inner world, actually. I had a part of me that was resisting my essence so hard and I wasn't sure why. Later, I learned it was because this part of me was actually resisting my essence because it was thinking my essence was like my mom or my dad. Here's what to do about it. Understand your essence is not your mom or your dad or anyone else. Your essence is a whole new kind of love that is truly safe and unconditional. In that moment in my inner world when that part was resisting my essence was like, I'm not your mom and I'm not your dad. I am something different. I am a different kind of love. And almost immediately without understanding, that part of me actually stopped resisting my essence. And she was actually able to be healed because she let real love in. But she had to first understand that this isn't the same love that hurt her before. Honestly, getting to know your unique parts and your unique inner world is what is going to move the needle the most when it comes to experiencing more of your essence. You can get started with this by downloading my free Meet a Part of You worksheet. It's going to walk you through the process of identifying a part of you and having your first conversation with them step by simple step. You can download it in the link in the description.